Person, Bismillah. Alhamdulillahi wahdah, wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'dahu, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tamassaka bi sunnatihi ila yawm ad-din, wa sallama tasliman kathira amma ba'd. We continue in Usool Sunnah by the great Imam Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Imam Ahmad ibn Harb al-Shaybani, rahmatullah alayhi wa jazahullahu anna wa an muslimin khal jaza. We started in the chapter of Iman, qawlun wa amal yazid wa yanqus. From the Usool, in which is binding upon every Salafi, Sunni, Athari, that he has to have the firm i'tiqad and belief and the asl, or the origin of one's foundation in his belief, that Iman is qawlun wa amal, and also likewise i'tiqad, that faith are from the foundations that every Muslim has to believe. And it's a matter of what is very detrimental and very vital to one's faith, is that having the belief of Iman, that faith, number one, is i'tiqad, belief in the heart, statement of the tongue, and likewise actions with the limbs. Why is this so important? Due to the fact that how a lot of the Muslims have deviated in this affair, on this asl, and you will find that a lot of them, if you ask them if do you pray, or why have you left off the prayer, or why have you left off your obligations to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will say Iman is here. They say faith is here, akhi. If you was to ask them, for example, you have to fulfill certain obligations to your Lord, such as the salah, and such as being upright, such as being upon steadfastness in one's obedience and uprightness with Allah. And you'll say, why are you so negligent in those duties? They'll say, Iman is here. So basically you affirm the affair of one aspect and you negated another. Whereas the person affirms the Iman of the i'tiqad, the belief of the heart, but he left off the other part, which is what? Actions with the limbs. And as if he's saying what? That actions is not from Iman. Even though he's not saying it directly with the tongue, but what he's saying, that Iman is here. The reason why I left off that obligation, because Iman is here, he's saying that actions is not from those obligations. I don't have to do that, because Iman is here. We said that obedience to Allah Ta'ala and one fulfilling his duties, this truly displays what is in one's heart. Fulfilling the obligations, or your Iman being correct, the fruits of it, your fruits of your correct faith and the correct belief and a sound creed, the belief of it, or the correct belief, manifests itself in your actions. It manifests itself in the actions of the person. The actions is what manifests and show truly what is in your heart. As we know that the actions is just as the statement that the Salaf wa Hasan al-Basri mentioned, he says, لَيْسَ الْإِيمَانِ بِالتَّحَلِّي وَالتَّمَنِّي وَلَكِنْ مَا وَقَرَ فِي الْقَلْبِ وَصَدَّقَهُ الْأَعْمَى. He said that actions is not بِالتَّحَلِّي وَالتَّمَنِّي. Actions is just not بِالتَّحَلِّي, by your appearance, or that which you manifest as far as your clothes, and that's it. And also likewise, tamanni, saying one day, inshallah, one day I'll do it, inshallah, one day. He says, however, it is ma waqara fil qalb wa saddaqahu al-a'mal. However, faith is what has been engrossed and it fell in the heart, and the actions confirm it. ما وقر في القلب وصدقه الأعمال. That the Iman has now settled in one's heart, and the actions confirm it. The actions confirm what is what? In the qalb, in the heart. We talked about last lesson of the two categories that you'll find from Ahl Ilm, in light of what the great Imam, al-Shaykh Rabi' ibn Hadi al-Madkhali hafidhullah wa ra'ah, in light of what he mentioned in the commentary in regards to the ta'rif al-Iman of Iman. He said, you'll find that some Ahl Ilm will say al-Iman qawlun wa amal. Notice that in the title it left off i'tiqad. Why did he leave off i'tiqad or belief in the heart? Why? Because it was something that was already established. It's something that's known. That faith is a prerequisite for the validity of one's faith. He has to have the belief in the heart, of course. That's something that was known with the Salaf. It was something that was known amongst the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, that in order for one's faith to be valid, he will have to have what? Iman in his heart, of course. Hence, that he will be from the munafiqeen if he didn't. As that munafiqeen displayed Islam and manifested openly, but they belied it in their heart. You'll find that Ahl Ilm, sometimes they'll mention, and they will. Now they come. Hold on for a second, everyone. You'll find that the Salaf used to make, or when they put their titles in, notice they put al-Iman qawlun wa amal, without mentioning i'tiqad. Like we said, the reason why they left off the word i'tiqad, belief, is because it was something that was already affirmed and established with them. There was no need to mention i'tiqad. So a person should not receive the wrong idea or understanding that i'tiqad is not from Iman because it's not mentioned here. The reason why the word i'tiqad was not mentioned in the title, especially in so many different circumstances and so many different books, the reason why the Salaf did not mention the word i'tiqad in the book, because it was something that was already established and already known. So it was no need to mention i'tiqad from the aspect of being so repetitious. Rather, it was something that was what? Affirmed. Qawlun wa amal, actions and statements, is where majority of the people deviated. Because the Sahaba, of course, knew that if a person did not have the i'tiqad in his heart, the firm conviction and belief in his heart, that he will be from the munafiqeen. If a person did not have the i'tiqad, then he will be from the munafiqeen. Meaning if he didn't have the belief in his heart, but he manifests Islam openly, he will be from the hypocrites. However, you'll find from the deviant sects who came after the Sahaba, who came after the time of the Prophet ﷺ, who came after the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and those deviant sects that started emerging and manifesting, where they deviated is in the aspect of these two elements and key factors here, which is where in the aspect of qawl, with the tongue, and what? The actions. That's where the deviants emanated from, and that's where the Salaf used to what? Focus a lot of their refutations, because so many deviant sects had emerged, and also likewise they went outside the correct belief in regards to these two matters. That's the reason why you'll find them focusing on it so much, because of the deviant sects, such as, for example, the Murji'ah and the Mu'tazila and the Jahmiyyah, and all those who are upon their way, who deviated in these matters, especially in the aspect of what? Of qawl and amal, especially in the aspect of the actions and the statements. So for that reason, you'll find why the Salaf used to focus on these matters, because they were the most utmost of importance in the life of a Muslim. Because if he deviated in these matters, then he would subject himself to a danger of great magnitude, or something that would be detrimental upon his religion. And he would be from the deviant sects that we see now these days, such as the Khawarij from ISIS, and also likewise from the Muslims who found the irja, whereas they did not perceive, such as saying the statement, like we just gave the example a couple of minutes ago, why don't you pray Jumu'ah, or why don't you go to Jumu'ah? Why don't you leave off having the girlfriends? Why don't you leave off, for example, leaving music and say, Akhi, Islam is here. Faith is here. Faith is right here in my chest here. You understand? That is a type of irja. That's the type of deviance in which you will find that a lot of the Muslims in these days and times fall into out of ignorance. That's the reason why you learn these principles, especially the principles in which Imam Ahmad laid down here in his treatise, so you can stay upon the correct path. That's the reason why Imam Ahmad made it from the foundations of the Sunnah. For those who are correctly upon the Sunnah of Mustafa, the Prophet ﷺ, they believe this belief here. From the safe sect is what? That a person have in his creed that Iman is qawlun wa amal. We said last week in regards to the statement qawl al-qalb wal-lisan wa amal al-qalb wal-jawarih, that you'll find from the ta'rifat or the definitions of Ahl Ilm, they say that Iman is qawl al-qalb wal-lisan wa amal al-qalb wal-jawarih. Qawl al-qalb, statement of the heart. What does that mean? As we said last week, statement of the heart is what, everyone? Is the shahada, is the asl, is the origin, which is kalimat or shahadat la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's the foundation. That nothing can be valid except by that. That is what? That is the statement of the heart, which is shahadat la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's the foundation in which everything else builds upon that. That's qawlul qalb. So when Ahl Ilm say the meaning of qawlul qalb wal lisan wa amal al qalb wal jawarih, the statement of the heart is the shahada, is the creed, the foundation in one's heart. That is qawlul qalb. Then you have al lisan, the tongue. Of course, that's obvious. I think that's self-explanatory. The person actually uttering the utterance of the shahada. Then you have amal al-qalb. Amal al-qalb is the actions of the heart. We said the actions of the heart are what? Such as the different aspects of worship, such as al-khawf, wal-raja, al-isti'ana, wal-istighatha, wal-isti'adha, the different various types of worship, such as, for example, fear of Allah, hoping for His mercy, fear of His punishment, seeking help with Allah, or aid with Allah, refuge, all those different aspects of worship, all those are called a'mal al-qulub, as we talked about. All those are the actions of the heart. It's not the statement of the heart, it's the what? A'mal al-qulub. A'mal al-qulub, and also likewise al-jawarih. That's one of the ta'rifat of Ahl Sunnah. You'll find that some of the ulama of the past, I don't have time to get into right now, mentioning of the meaning of Iman. Oh, that's thinking. وعمل الجوارح, عمل القلب, or the actions of the heart. We just gave examples of that. And also likewise from the actions of the heart, for example, al-haya, or shyness. It's also from the actions of what, everyone? It's the actions of the heart. Shyness is also from a'mal al-qulub. طيب. Then you have what they call amal al-jawarih, which is clear, which is the actions of the limbs. Amal al-jawarih. That's also what? Clear. I think everyone should know that, and it's self-explanatory. طيب. Then you have the statement of which all of us know, which is what? The second ta'rif, or the second definition, that Iman is qawlun wa amal wa i'tiqad, yazid bil ta'a wa yanqusu bil ma'siyah. That Iman is statements and actions, and it's belief that it increases with what? Obedience, and it decreases with what? Disobedience. This is the Iman, or it's the correct belief with Ahl Sunnah and the Salafiyin. As far as those who make those false claims that Ahl Sunnah or the Salafiyin or Ahl Haqq in these days and times are upon irja, which is nonsense, which when we have the opportunity, we will talk about those who accuse the great Imam from the A'imma, such as Shaykh al-Albani, Muhammad al-Sadin al-Albani, rahimahullah, of these days and times in which people still accuse this great Imam of irja, who do not know Imam al-Albani. If you accuse him of irja, know for sure you do not know Imam al-Albani. Well, Imam al-Albani, which we'll talk about inshallah, as he was free from irja. And that the people who accuse him of irja, as if it's more incumbent upon you to also accuse the companions of the Prophet ﷺ of irja, because he did not make statements except that those statements agreed with the Sahaba were by. And if you accuse the Imam al-Albani of irja, you have to accuse the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ of irja. As we'll talk about inshallah bi'idhnillah, how the people of irja, al-Imam al-Albani was free from them, rather he made war with irja. Rather he made war with irja, in the word irja, meaning those who say that actions are not from faith. Those who remove actions as being from faith is irja. And the murji'ah are the group. The murji'ah are the people, or the actual name of the sect, who say that faith is not from what? Actions. Or actions are not from what? Excuse me, everyone. From faith. Those who deviated in these aspects from the deviant sects, because it's incumbent upon us to also elaborate of who are the deviant sects that deviated in these matters. Why? Because we laid down the asl, or the usool, or the foundation. Then we have to also likewise enlighten the people what opposes it. Because the only way you'll be able to avoid danger is to know what they are and who they are. So we don't just teach the people the khair and that's it. So one can avoid it. That's the reason why you'll find Ahlul Sunnah constantly focusing and speaking about the deviant sects and clarifying who they are. As this is something that is in the asl of it, is in the shahada. Even in la ilaha illallah. In that is a refutation. And the Quran itself is filled with refutation. All types of sects, from the people of kufr, and the people of nifaq, and the people of hypocrisy, and the people who deviated from the correct path. The Quran is filled with refutations. So no one can come and say that this is something that is a vile act that you are practicing, and this is not from the religion. Rather we say, yes it is. Rather the foundation of what validates your Islam is built upon a refutation, which is La ilaha illallah, which has in it a refutation against the polytheists. La ilaha is a refutation against the polytheists. And illallah is a refutation against those that are atheists. When you say La ilaha is a refutation against the polytheists. And illallah is a refutation against the malahida, against the atheists. So your whole shahada, when you come into religion, is built upon a refutation. You separate yourself upon what from what? It's based upon a refutation when you say La ilaha, meaning I separate myself from polytheism and its people. And I separate myself from those who disbelieve in the existence of Allah and its people. I disbelieve in our ideology and its people. So in regards to now faith, as we know the poetry, as he says in his poetry where he says, فَإِنَّ الضِّدَّ يُظْهِرُ حُسْنَهُ ضِدُّهُ وَبِضِدِّهَا تَتَبَايَنُ الْأَشْيَاءُ. For now we bring what is the asl, now we're going to bring what opposes it. As we talked about last lesson, in regards to the Khawarij and the Wa'idiyyah. As those who went astray in these principles on the Usool Sunnah, as we said from last lesson, you have the Khawarij who are the Wa'idiyyah. The Khawarij and the Mu'tazila. The Khawarij and the Mu'tazila who are ISIS of these days. As we talked about, the Khawarij are the ones who negate that faith also likewise decreases and increases or augments and it decreases. That's what we're going to focus on today. How faith it increases and decreases. Those who nullified or negated this fact was from the Wa'idiyyah, as Shaykh al-Islam mentioned, al-Aqidat al-Wasitiyyah. That the Wa'idiyyah are the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila. The Khawarij and the Mu'tazila say that faith is like a type of, it's like a type of if you want to say a bean or a seed. That it needs all of its elements. And if one element is removed, then it means it's all of it is now not the same element anymore. All of it is negated and nullified. So if one person does one act that now is removed from that one whole key factor, you took one element out of it, it's not the same anymore. So now they've negated the whole thing. So the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila say that if a person falls into what? Major sin, then what? One sin nullifies your faith completely. You're a kafir. You've nullified it. Like we said, the Khawarij fall into this, and likewise the Murji'ah, the people of Irja, likewise say the same thing. As the Khawarij say that one element is removed from faith, it's nullified, the people of Irja say the same thing. It's the same minhaj. Even if the Murji'ah, they say that no matter what you do, faith will always be intact and it will be complete because it's the same element. No matter what is removed from it, as long as the origin is there, it's same, and it will stay as a whole and complete. That's why they say if a person commits a major sin, you have the Iman of Jibreel and the Prophet ﷺ. And you also likewise have complete faith in all of its aspects, no matter what you do. As long as you believe in the ma'rif or the ta'rif, or you have the shahada, you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and you actually have that belief in your heart, no matter what you do of actions, your faith is complete in every aspect. Such as you have the faith of Jibreel, and your faith is equal to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also Abu Bakr and all of the other companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Your faith is just as complete, if not more complete than theirs. That is the ideology of the Murji'ah, who are likewise the Jahmiyyah. The Murji'ah are from the Jahmiyyah. As we said in this regard, as far as the Murji'ah and the Murji'ah likewise say that faith is not from what? Iman. Rather, your faith, no matter what you do and what you commit of major or evil acts or vile acts, your faith remains intact, rather in the most complete state, which is the same as often as the ideology of the Christians. No matter what they do or what they act or what they say, as long as you believe that Jesus died on the cross for your sins, your faith is complete. You will go to paradise, you will be from his people. As you'll find that even the Christianity has creeped in it the aspect of irja. That no matter what you do, as long as you have this belief, then what, everyone? Your faith is complete. Then you will enter what? Paradise. It's the same type of ideology that what has been adopted even here, of what some of the Muslims believe, in which they say that what, no matter what a person does, then what? His faith is complete. As far as in the aspect of the Murji'atul Fuqaha, from some of those who, from Ahl Ilm, or which you'll find in the past, who fell into what they call Murji'atul Fuqaha, we'll talk about that in a later time. Because that's something I wanted to expound on a little bit and it needs some details. Wow. What's wrong?
No, I had a question. I'll wait.
طيب. In regards to faith increasing and decreasing, you'll find there's many texts in the Kitab and the Sunnah that establishes this i'tiqad. So numerous that it cannot be counted. That one's faith, that it what? It augments to the point where it's very what? Strong. And it can what? Likewise decrease. And there's signs for both. It's a sign when your faith increases, and it's a sign when your faith what? Decreases. The Prophet ﷺ, or from the ayat in the book of Allah, as we'll talk about inshaAllah, where Allah Ta'ala says in his book, إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليه آياته زادته إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. Where Allah Ta'ala says in his book, and we'll just mention the mawdi' al-shahid, the point of reference, where he says in the ayah, وَإِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَإِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُهُ. That if Allah's ayat are recited, then their faith increases. And upon their Lord, in their Lord, they put their trust. That is a clear ayat, and other ayats that are like that. وَإِذَا مَا أُنزِلَتْ سُورَةٌ فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ أَيُّكُمْ زَادَتْهُ هَذِهِ إِيمَانًا وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَيَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ. If you go back to Surah At-Tawbah, I'm going to mention all the ayats. There's another ayat that Allah Ta'ala said in Surah At-Tawbah, that He said, وَإِذَا مَا أُنزِلَتْ سُورَةٌ فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ أَيُّكُمْ زَادَتْهُ هَذِهِ إِيمَانًا. That from the people, that if an ayah from Allah or surah is revealed, they will say, which one of you this ayah has increased his faith? Which one of you this ayah has increased his faith? أَيُّكُمْ هَذِهِ زَادَتْ هَذِهِ إِيمَانًا. Which one of this ayah has increased his faith? Which is to show what? No doubt that faith, if it augments, then it's subjected to what? For it to decrease. If it increases, that is definitely going to increase. Ayat and that which is similar to this, and also likewise in the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which also refutes the notion that faith, that either it stays complete, or you'll find that the opposite of the spectrum with the Khawarij, when they say is what, everyone? That if one element is taken out, then it's all destroyed. Like I said, you will find there's comparisons and similarities in the Khawarij, even though the Khawarij are hot and the Murji are too cold, but the origin is the same. Both of them have the same asl, the origin and their i'tiqad and their belief of why they deviated. Because they think that Iman is like one element, no matter what is removed from it. Either the Murji are saying that no matter what you do, as long as the foundation there stays intact, you can do anything to it, it will stay complete. Whereas likewise, they say on the other side, from the Khawarij, they say now, the origin is there. Yes, but it has to remain intact. If one element is taken out, then everything is destroyed. Ahlul Sunnah say, in light of what these ahadith of the text of the Prophet ﷺ, which gives us the clear guidance, and likewise, what is clarity in regards to this, where Allah Himself laid down the foundation upon the tongue of the Prophet ﷺ, where the Prophet ﷺ said on that authentic hadith, which is on the authority of al-Qa'qa' ibn Hakim, عن أبي صالح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه in the isnad. Al-Qa'qa' ibn Hakim عن أبي صالح عن أبي هريرة, which is a famous isnad. When the Prophet ﷺ mentioned the hadith where it says, he says that a mu'min, إذا أذنب مؤمن نكت في قلبه نكتة سوداء وإذا نزع واستغفر وتاب سقل منها قلبه وإذا عاد فإن الران تعلو قلبه وهو مصداق قول الله تبارك وتعالى طبعا كلا بل ران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned and said, if a mu'min commits a sin, إذا أذنب, he said نكت في قلبه نكتة سوداء أو كانت نكتة سوداء في قلبه فإذا تاب ونزع واستغفر سقل منها قلبه. If he refrains and he makes tawbah to Allah and he seeks His forgiveness, then his heart will be polished. سقل منها قلبه. His heart will be polished. فإذا عاد, if he continues, he says فإنها تعلو قلبه, for verily the sin اتسعت, that it will continue and continue until it will what? Totally corrupt his heart. It will totally corrupt his heart until it will be a ran, that ran that will be put upon his heart, in which Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, He says, Kalla bal, rather what is put in their hearts, that ran, for that which they used to earn and acquire due to those evil actions that they committed. That Allah put on it what they call ran, which is that black spot. Notice in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ said it is what? A black dot which is put on the heart of the mu'min, whereas that evil action, but it's still that which is left of what? Faith, which is still intact. Even though a part of the heart has been what? Corrupted or tainted. which is let one know that faith is what? Still in his heart, even though he what? Even though it's been tainted by that evil action. This hadith refutes the Murji'ah and it refutes the what? The Khawarij, both. All the texts that you find in regards, and one would think that's refuting the Khawarij, it refutes the Murji'ah at the same time. Because let us know that faith, even though he committed a sin, his faith became what? Rendered incomplete. And also likewise on the opposite side of the refutation you will find in regards to the Khawarij or the Wa'idiyah, that even though he committed the sin, he's still in the form or the folds of what? Of Islam. He did not disbelieve. Because he's still in his heart and his i'tiqad knows that he's wrong. But however, his faith now has been tainted, it is incomplete. So he's not a complete believer. But however, is what? As they say, ناقص هو إيمان بإيمانه عاصٍ or فاسق بمعصيته. You'll find that Ahl Ilm, they say these statements with Shaykh al-Islam, also mentioned in Aqidat al-Wasitiyah. Where you'll find the statements of Ahl Ilm, what they call this person, fasiqun milli. Fasiqun milli. Fasiqun milli. Meaning a person that he's still in the fold of Islam, but he's a fasiq. He's a wrongdoer, he's a sinner. But he's still in the aspect on the fold of what? Faith. He's still in the aspect and in the fold of what? Faith. That's you'll find that Ahl Ilm, especially Shaykh al-Islam, mention the state which they call fasiqun milli. Fasiqun milli, or they say mu'minun bi imaneh, fasiqun, or they say asin bi kabirate. That he's mu'min but his faith, but however he's disobedient and he's a wrongdoer or disobedient due to his what? His disobedience. You understand? In those statements is a refutation against both deviant sects, the Khawarij and the Murji'ah, where they didn't give the person what? Complete faith, nor did they snatch all of it away from him. So in that same statement is a refutation against both sects. You understand, everyone? So, those ahadith, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned here in the hadith, where he said that if he continues doing the sin, that it will continue to cover up his heart until what? Totally corrupts it. Corrupts the heart until the point where what, everyone? Until it will be a ran, that ran that's put on the heart. What is the meaning of ran? The meaning of ran also comes in the hadith, also which is in Mukharrajun fi Sahih Muslim, on the authority of Hudayf ibn Yaman, radiyallahu anhu, when the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in another part of the hadith where he mentions the same thing. When the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, he said, تعرض الفتن على القلوب كعرض الحصير عودا عودا فأي قلب أشربها نكت فيه نكتة سوداء وأي قلب أنكرها نكت فيه نكتة بيضاء حتى تصير على قلبين أبيض مثل الصفا فلا تضره فتنة ما دامت السماوات والأرض والآخر مربان كالكوز مجخيا لا يعرف معروفا ولا يعرف معروفا ولا ينكر منكرا إلا ما أشرب من هوى. That hadith is similar to this one. It gives more clarity. The hadith of Hudayfa ibn Yaman, radiyallahu anhu, which is mukharraj fi Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, he said, fitan is constantly being shown to the hearts, udan, constantly, on a consistent basis. The fitna of desires and fitna of belief. Trying to get you to trying to deviate in your origin as a Muslim to some deviant sect or some deviant belief. It's constantly being shown to your heart, or something of kufr, or something of shirk, or something of polytheism, or something of deviance of even being Muslim, but he still has some type of deviation in his methodology. All those are constantly shown to everyone's heart on a daily basis and calling you to it. And also likewise of desires and sins. تعرض الفتن على القلوب كعرض الحصير عودا عودا. Any heart that now is open towards accepting that type of what? Deviance. Whether it be from the aspect of shubahat or shahwat. That'll be put on his heart what? Nukita fi qalbihi nuktatun sawda. It will be put on his heart that black dot. And any heart that repels and rejects it, it will be put on his heart a white dot. Until it is what? Until it will be like one of the two hearts. The one that rejects it, and the one that hates it, and detests it, and doesn't want it, his heart will be like safa. Be pure. It will be what? Absolutely pure. And it will stay in that manner as long as he keeps that i'tiqad, belief what he's doing is wrong, and he's struggling with himself and struggling with his Iman. And constantly making tawbah to Allah. constantly asking Allah for forgiveness and coming back to the truth, he keeps doing that. He says, أَبْيَضْ مِثْلِ الصَّفَا. Nothing will harm it as long as the heavens and the earth exist. مَا دَامَتِ السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضِ. However, وَالْآخِرُ مُرْبَادٍ. That which is the other type of heart that loves the fitna. His heart is subjected to it and wants it, has desire and inclination towards it. When his heart now becomes like this, it becomes like a type of blackness that's mixed with type of what? Redness. Really what? Disgusting. Meaning that your heart has reached the level of now where it's what? It's as if it's a plant that's upside down. Where the plant is putting, what its head is on the ground, and the actual root is sticking up in the air. That's how the Prophet ﷺ gave the example. Meaning, if someone comes to you with the truth, and it's the haqq, he will never accept it. Your heart will get black to the point where a person can bring ayat and ahadith to prove to you that what is this is incorrect, and what you're doing is wrong, but you will reject it. Because now the heart has been so corrupted that it will not accept any truth. You understand, everyone? That's why the Prophet ﷺ gave this example. No matter what you come to a person of kitab or sunnah, if his heart has now been deviated and corrupted to the point where it's like this plant, no matter how much dalil you give him, which is clear as the sun of the sky, I am not trying to hear it. You understand? The Prophet ﷺ mentioned this, and likewise Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned in regards to this hadith, which is also explained the same hadith, where he said, in regards to what the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, Hudayf al-Yaman, he said the person's heart becomes corrupt. The person's heart becomes corrupt, he says, until he will start thinking that Tawheed is shirk, and shirk is Tawheed. He will start thinking that monotheism is polytheism, it will be switched on him. He will think that monotheism is polytheism, and polytheism is monotheism. His heart now become switched. Ibn al-Qayyim says he'll think Tawheed is shirk. Shirk is Tawheed. And he'll start to think that what? Sunnah is bid'ah, and bid'ah is sunnah. And he will also start to think that sin is obedience, obedience is sin. How many people do we know, have we heard of this type? Has now, if you come to them, you will stay certain and say, hey, akhi, do you know having a girlfriend? It's haram, akhi. I mean, you got to be careful. Hey, akhi, this is what I do. That's what I do. What? Not only that, he stops there, he even starts putting it and bragging about it on social media. But what he's doing. How many people have you seen now upon Islam, upon kufr tomorrow, back to Christianity, back to worshiping and being a cross worshiper? Now to the point where he even thinks that monotheism, that which we are upon, is incorrect. And that which is Jesus and that which is of shirk and kufr and all those lies that's been what? Fabricated, that Jesus died on the cross. All of that lies and fabrication, he really thinks is the truth now. And that which you guys are upon is batil. What you're upon is false. What you're upon is kufr. What you're upon is shirk. What you're upon is incorrect. And the worst way that a person can fall in this type of deviance is especially when he's ignorant. You subject yourself to deviance on a daily basis. We are not have these principles that Usool Sunnah is in like that, which is your weapon in your back pocket. Because like we said, these type of principles is your fortification, your shield from deviance in these days. If you don't know now, well established and well ground yourself in these matters, you subject yourself to the winds that will blow. Which is what? The winds of kufr, the winds of shirk, the winds of bid'ah, and the winds of all the deviant methodologies out there. You will be open towards it. So these hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, we mentioned, he said, there will be put on his heart a what? White dot or black dot. Like we said, that also goes inside of the statement of the Prophet ﷺ where he said, the statement of one of the Sahabi, and I think because of my mind is Anas ibn Malik, where he says about a person who will come on a time, this also affirms this hadith here, where he said about the person that will come, a person on the day and time, he said about the individual that there will come a person, he says, Iyaka wa talawmu fi din. He says, I warned you of being colored in the religion, being two-faced. For verily from major misguidance, is to come and say that what you used to deem good one day is now deemed to be what? Evil the next. What you used to find today of Sunnah and Tawheed, now tomorrow you think is what? It's evil. And also likewise you switch it, which you used to deem to be evil today, now you deem it to be what? Good tomorrow. He said, فَإِيَّاكُمْ وَتَلَوُّنْ فِي الدِّينِ فَإِنَّ دِينَ اللَّهِ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى وَاحِدٌ. I warned you of color being different colors in the religion. For verily the religion of Allah is only one. من الضلالة أن تعرف أن ما كنت تعرف تنكر ما كنت تعرف وتعرف ما كنت تنكر وإياكم وتلوّن في دين الله فإن الدين الله تبارك وتعالى واحد. These type of refutations, they used to make refutations against Ali Halabi, especially in his book. He says all these different things that he used to say, especially when Ali Halabi started saying that in calling to unifications of the religions, which is very dangerous. Well, Ali Halabi now reached the level of now calling the unifications wahdat al-adyan, unifications of the religion, and these are some of the refutations that was put against them. He says, yesterday you used to deem this to be evil. Now listen to you today. You understand? Jayid? Oh, somebody called you there. Listen. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر شو لا إله إلا الله شو لا إله إلا الله
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
بدأ ربي خطوة
حي على الصلاة
حول ولا قوة
حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح
الحكيم اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة آتي محمد الوصيلة والفضيلة وبعث مقام محمود الذي وعدته. جيد. Those are the meanings of how the heart will be corrupted to the point that what? That the black dot covers one's heart. This will be the ultimate abode for the person. He will start thinking that batil is haqq and haqq is batil. And that he will start thinking tawheed is shirk and shirk is tawheed. And sunnah is bid'ah and bid'ah is sunnah. And also ma'asiyah is obedience. How many people, like we said, even I've come across when I was in Philadelphia, people now you put on social media bragging about their sins openly. And you come to them, ask them, you know, bragging about your sins, okay, do you feel any shyness about it? You know, not to put it on the internet. I mean, it's what I do. It gets dangerous. Because it's now as if you're showing that what? I deem what I'm doing, what's wrong with it, which is what I do. What's wrong with it? You know, this is what I do. See, the shyness now has been removed. It's now to another level. To now the sin is becoming what? You're becoming immune to it. And like we said, the immunity is dangerous. As we said in the khutbah Friday, Zim al-Qayyim even mentioned and said in Dawah Dawa, the more that the sin you become immune to it, the more it's becoming greater with Allah. You don't feel anything, no remorse, no regret, no nothing. The more you do it, now there's no remorse anymore, the more it's becoming more and greater with Allah now. Understand, everyone? That's the danger of what? Of the black dot that covers up of one's heart. That it can reach this level until the point where it reaches that blindness in one's hidayah and his guidance until everything becomes switched. You understand, everyone? That's the reason why you'll find that Ahl Sunnah used to say that ma'siyah is baridatul kufr. That disobedience is baridatul kufr. That will lead you down the road to kufr if you're not careful. You understand, everyone? Jayyid. So these hadith and the likes of them is... when did I start? Was it 8:15? The time flies. I guess we stop here because we got to pray. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
I'm sorry, I had a question. I recall the beef concerning. I recall the beef with regard to Murad and each other, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the donkey. And yet, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had stated to the